He celebrates small businesses, the enduring lifeblood of our community, with the launch of the KBLA SMB Marketplace. For the first time, small to medium-sized businesses will have an opportunity to promote their goods and services on KBLA and take advantage of our powerful reach and local marketing power. The SMB Marketplace is hosted exclusively on KBLA1580.com and is accessible from all our social media channels. Whether you're a small mom and pop restaurant, a car dealership, or a professional practitioner, we invite you to join in this new KBLA Talk 1580 initiative to promote your business. As a Black-owned small business, you don't want to miss this unique opportunity to gain new customers on KBLA Talk 1580. For more information, contact us today at smb@kbla1580.com. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
And if I share with you my story, would you share your shadow with me? Time to get it.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
One of the keys to managing anxiety is knowing your tells, your triggers, and your glimmers. Knowing these can help you catch anxiety sooner and take helpful steps earlier. So let's start with tells. A tell is your personal indicator that your anxiety has been triggered. In other words, how you can tell you're anxious. This can show up in your thought patterns, in the way that you feel physically or emotionally. It can show up in your actions, your decisions, and the way you interact with others. When you know this about yourself, you can tell that you're anxious and pause and ask yourself, what was my trigger and where's my glimmer? So what are those? A trigger is a cue to your body that you're in danger, and a glimmer is exactly the opposite, a cue that you're safe. So things like places, settings, situations, environmental factors, something that somebody says or does, some expectation placed on you, or upcoming events can all be examples of triggers. Of course, our own thoughts, physical sensations, emotions, actions, and physical well-being, things like being hungry or thirsty, can also be triggers for anxiety. Knowing your triggers can help you prevent, cope with, and manage anxiety by helping you take care of those triggers that are within your control and doing something grounding or using your coping skills in those situations that aren't within your control. Of course, the goal isn't to avoid all triggers. First, that's impossible. But this also can reinforce anxiety, and it makes our world a whole lot smaller. Really, the goal is to just begin to be more mindful about our anxiety. Now, this leads us to glimmers. What are those? Those are anything in your environment, anything that you feel or experience that gives you that little sense of ease or peace, relaxation, that makes you feel like, I'm okay, things are going to be okay, it's safe to relax. It can be something as simple as seeing the sun streaming through the window, hearing a wind chime. It can be the sound of your friend's laughter, a favorite song, a favorite meal. Basically, anything that gives you that little sense of well being. When you're anxious, you can use your glimmers to walk yourself out of fight, flight, or freeze a little at a time. You can also incorporate brief.
Very interesting discussion prepared for you today. Glimmers, which are said to be the opposite of triggers. Glimmers, moments of gratitude. I think Big Mama didn't know she created glimmers when she said, "You think you doing bad? I can show you some people that's doing bad." Huh? You want to see somebody doing bad? You got a house over your head, roof over your head. Huh? You got a blanket on your bed. You got pillows. Did you eat tonight? Did you have extras? Huh? That's a glimmer. So, and you know, psychologists are always doing creative things to recontextualize old ideas. You know, a glimmer just sounds like be thankful, be grateful for what you have and where you are. It's a type of grace, right? But triggers, we already know what triggers are, and we understand, as the clip articulated so eloquently, you can't avoid all triggers, right? And you can't use glimmers to avoid your triggers. See, we live in a spiritually lazy society. Anything that requires tough inner work, any tough inner work, most people are looking for a quick way out. You know, I'd hate that this apparently new concept of glimmering doesn't turn into the new toxic positivity, right? That kind of pushes you away from the meaning of going through difficult moments. You're supposed to be triggered. Your triggering system, your nervous system, is designed to bring to your attention that which you have buried and that which is being mirrored back to you right now through probably the vehicle of relationship, right? That's what triggers are for. Wake up. Still got work to do. You're not done. No, it's glimmer time. Glimmer time. No. And I'm not saying glimmering is a bad idea, but triggers are to be transmuted. Somebody meme it. I need to see it. Triggers are to be transmuted. You cannot transmute a trigger unless you face it with loving, non-judgmental empathy. But if you're glimmering, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it feels like a slippery slope. Tonight's topic, the trigger whisperer, i.e. the alchemist. A deeper look into the process of transmuting triggers into glimmers. Glimmers and triggers are opposite in terms of how they affect your nervous system and emotions. True or false? Glimmers and triggers are opposite in that, I read that, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I didn't. Glimmers and triggers are opposites in that glimmers spark positive feelings while triggers spark negative ones. What's the difference, again, between glimmers and triggers? True or false? Glimmers are small moments that can make you feel safe, joyful, and connected, while triggers can make you feel anxious, fearful, or angry. And you already know what happens when we feel anxious, fearful, or angry. We're in fight or flight mode. We're ready to run. We're ready to bounce, right? We're ready to get up out of there. Fight, flight, or freeze, right? How can I identify my glimmers? Well, I think you have to be careful about that Because whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove, i.e., whatever you're looking for, you tend to see. So, for many people, see triggers everywhere, even where there are none, right? And it's almost like an anticipatory trigger, The word triggered is often associated with emotional upset or distress. How might we utilize Krishnamurti's concept of observing without judgment to transmute triggers? Wow, that's heavy. In what ways do glimmers help us focus on being love instead of doing acts of service and using that as evidence of love in our relationships? I know you're not ready for these types of questions. I need to hit you upside the head with that again, because it might have slipped past you. Did it slip past you, Andy? Let me slap him one more time. In what ways do glimmers help us focus on being love instead of doing acts of service and using those acts of service as evidence of love in our relationships? 1-800-920-1580. I want to talk. Have you been triggered? Huh? Who triggers you? Why are you triggered? Do you learn from your triggers? Do you evolve from your triggers? Do you know how to turn your triggers into something positive? They're calling it a glimmer. Big Mama said you got favor, God's favor. You got grace on you. Huh? True or false? To remain triggered is a choice. Ooh, how do I use my glimmers to improve my mental health? What is the difference between wishful thinking, toxic positivity, and glimmers of hope for a better relationship outcome? Are we focusing on triggers as a way to avoid confronting our own inner mess? How does the watering down of psychological verbiage contribute to the promotion of victimhood mentality and or victim blaming? Let's water it down, right? I love it. This is good. Listen, you're going to be triggered in adult relationships. Nobody gets out of their relationship with their mother or father, right? Their parents, the primary caregivers, without some type of attachment style. Now, unfortunately, there's only 4 attachment styles, and only one of them is considered secure. So now you got 3 insecure attachment styles. So it stands to reason that the majority of people with attachment styles, which is everybody has one, is probably an insecure attachment style. So you probably have a first-hand understanding of what it means to be triggered. But what do you do with your triggers? We all got triggered by Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson said, that girl, she ain't even black, I heard. Somebody told me she wasn't black. Black people got triggered, we're going to cancel the icon. Right? What happened to Krishnamurti's philosophy? How does Krishnamurti's idea of choiceless awareness dissolve the charge of triggers and open a space for recognizing glimmers? Couldn't somebody say, hey, maybe Janet needs a teachable moment? Or other people probably said, you know what, I agree with Janet. But people were triggered. Too much. This society is such a judgmental society. If you even act like you... Let me just stop. No, I'm going to continue. Listen. Why black people always acting like we unified? Huh? Not even all the democratic black folk unified. Huh? So you going to blame somebody because she has her own opinion? You triggered. How can we turn this into a glimmer moment? Right? Right? How can we turn this into a glimmer moment? Why does Janet Jackson have to get it right about Kamala? And she has a duty and a responsibility as an entertainer. What did Malcolm say about entertainers speaking on politics? Comics, actors, singers. What did he say? Was Malcolm with it? No, he wasn't. Even the great Dick Gregory at the time was speaking on politics. Malcolm was like, he should not be talking. He's a comic. Y'all don't remember that? So why are we offended? Sometimes, man, those triggers are just a little bit deeper, right? Let's find out the source of the trigger. Where does it come from, right? Are we triggered because we're not really unified, but we're acting unified at the polls? Ooh, right? Casting a vote is easier than showing empathy, right? Towards your brother. Sympathy and love and honor and care and consideration. I think that's easier. I think it's easier to cast a vote, right? I mean, I'm really trying to ask here. Could triggers be necessary, right? I want y'all to hear this. Could triggers be considered necessary, right? Dark night of the soul, right? Is a necessary dark night of the soul in relationships that serves as a catalyst for deeper spiritual growth and union. Sometimes we must be triggered to find out listen what I'm about to say, what our problem is. Our problem. Not society's problem, our problem. Why am I triggered by that? Right? And how can I turn that trigger into a glimmer? Does the concept of glimmers align with Abraham Maslow's notion of peak experiences? And if so, how do they lead us closer to self-actualization in relationships? Glimmers, right? Something valuable, something positive. When we come forward, I'll be opening the phone lines. We know we're going to get busy tonight. I want to hear from people tonight. I want to hear your thoughts and perspective on tonight's topic. We got another slapper. Let's get it.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. Tabitha Smiley's new book, The Covenant with Black America, 20 years later, is now on sale everywhere. This classic text shot to #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list almost 2 decades ago. If you have the original book, you will surely want to get this 20th anniversary edition with powerful new contributions from today's leading voices. This 20th anniversary edition presents a compelling blend of historical insights and contemporary urgency in this critical and unprecedented election year. Get your copy of The Covenant with Black America 20 years later today. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Believe in shooting stars, but she believe in shoes and cars. Wood floors in the new apartment, couture from the store's departments. You more like love to start. I'm more of the trips to Florida, order the hors d'oeuvres, views of the water, straight from a page of your favorite author. And the weather's so breezy, man, why can't life always be this easy? She in the mirror dancing so sleazy. I get a call like, where are you, Yeezy? And try to hit you with the old wapty, till I get flashed by the paparazzi.
Today, I'm going to talk about glimmers. Most of you have probably heard about or experienced a trigger, a present moment where we relive a past emotional experience, usually having a huge reaction. A glimmer can be thought of as the opposite of a trigger. It's a moment where you feel calm, grounded, peaceful, even content. A trigger is a stimulus that activates dysregulation in our nervous system, or our sympathetic fight or flight response. A glimmer is a stimulus that activates regulation, or our parasympathetic nervous system, or safe and social response. Some examples of glimmers might be spending a special moment with someone you love, or just feeling the sun on your skin when you're outside, or maybe being in awe of nature, possibly having a stimulating conversation with someone, or a kind interaction with a stranger, even reading your favorite book. Glimmers activate our ventral vagal nervous system. This causes changes in our body. It lowers our blood pressure and even the stress hormone cortisol. And it causes emotional changes, which include feeling safer, more secure, increasing our feelings of belonging and acceptance, increasing our ability to feel joyful, to laugh, to be lighthearted, and even increases our mobility or motivation. It gives us the energy and ability to try new things, for many of us helping us become unstuck. Neuroscience actually shows us that we can teach our body to notice and experience more glimmers. Through repetition, our body can become more and more aware of and comfortable embodying the safety and security that they offer. You have to...
Let me just say, that is a hell of a compliment. Ida Alfaro in the chat basically said, this show is a glimmer. People come here and, they feel safe, non-judgmental space for you to call and share your thoughts. But I want to go against, contemporary philosophical or psychological framing here. We have to stop looking externally for the glimmer. The glimmer, like any other aspect of, this process of learning ourselves, this process of being a human being, I believe that it has to come from the inside. Like, this is where attachment comes from. Attachment is suffering, according to the Buddha, right? The source of suffering is attachment. Imagine if your glimmer was external. That's where you got it from. Oh, I get it from my child. I get it from my woman. I get it from my family. I get it from blah, 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 right? Right? I believe there's a potential for addiction when that happens, right? I believe the glimmer must be an internal movement. Glimmers and triggers stand as contrasting threads, each of them woven with unique significance. Glimmers, ephemeral moments of connection and joy, illuminate our existence. Triggers, conversely, can cast shadows of anxiety and fear. What I'm finding is both a glimmer and a trigger, right? It's transactional. Not transactional, it's ephemeral is the word I'm looking for. It doesn't last. Even the trigger doesn't last. The trigger and the glimmer, they're only there for a moment. It's momentary is the word I'm saying. Right? Why do we put so much faith in that which is momentary? So the glimmer's not going to last forever, that moment of joy. And it reminds me of the work of Krishnamurti, when Krishnamurti says whenever we, feel or participate in a glimmer, what is the natural proclivity of the human being to do? We want to have it again. We want to control it. We want to contain it. We want to experience it again. We want it to last. Make it last. Where's Keith Sweat? We want to make it last forever. Right? And that's just not how life works. And many of us who've never had glimmers in our childhood, parental glimmers, right? We are haunted by past triggers. But we think those triggers are merely there just to torment us. No. Really, the trigger is there to tear you down so that you can rebuild yourself. And it is possible to do. And no, it's not going to end in your lifetime. You're going to be rebuilding yourself forever. But that's part of the journey. So many people want a day off from spirit work. Didn't Carl Jung say that people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid looking at themselves? Everybody's looking for a day off from spirit work. Spirit work is a lifelong process. This is how you evolve into the being you're supposed to be. When we come forward, I'm going to tear this thing down even further. Let's get it!
No visa, first class with the seat back, I still see ya in my past. You on the other side of the glass of my memories museum. I'm just saying, hey Mona Lisa, come home. You know you can't roam without Caesar.
I know you love to show off, but I never thought that you would take it this far.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Staffers are leaving the campaign for Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. The Republican is now running for governor, but has faced problems since he was called out last week for allegedly referring to himself as a black Nazi and calling himself a perv on an adult film website forum before he entered politics over a decade ago. 4 people who worked on Robinson's campaign staff resigned over the weekend. Robinson says he feels like he is in a strong position. The Chicago contract for ShotSpotter has expired. 24th Ward Alderwoman Monique Scott says she expects that a special city council meeting will be held soon on the matter concerning the gun detection technology. Last week, the city council voted 33-14 to give Black Police Superintendent Larry Snelling power over the contract with ShotSpotter. Mayor Brandon Johnson, who is also black, called the move illegal and said he would veto the legislation. The city council can override the veto with 34 votes. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Staples prints anything you need for your business, like banners, flyers, and signs. And Staples will beat any price quote. Plus, now print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Offer ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details or staples.com/price match for price match guarantee.
I need $1, that's what I need.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates small businesses, the enduring lifeblood of our community, with the launch of the KBLA SMB Marketplace. For the first time, small to medium-sized businesses will have an opportunity to promote their goods and services on KBLA and take advantage of our powerful reach and local marketing power. The SMB Marketplace is hosted exclusively on KBLA1580.com and is accessible from all our social media channels. Whether you're a small mom and pop restaurant, a car dealership, or a professional practitioner, we invite you to join in this new KBLA Talk 1580 initiative to promote your business. As a Black-owned small business, you don't want to miss this unique opportunity to gain new customers on KBLA Talk 1580. For more information, contact us today at smb@kbla1580.com. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
And if I share with you my story, would you share your shadow with me? Time to get
Helping to broaden your political and moral imagination with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, man. Looks like Bobby needs a ride to the airport again.
Grab the keys.
Who's taking Auntie and her friends to the swap meet?
Grab the keys.
How about we drop these boxes off at Miss Johnson?
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, you're all about getting things done. So do it all in a Chevy SUV. From the versatile Equinox and sporty Blazer to the roomy Traverse, our lineup of SUVs will carry you through every adventure. All you have to do is...
grab the keys?
That's how we do. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% APR on all 2024 Silverado 1500, Blazer EV, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Colorado models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment, 12.7%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 9/30/24.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer.
Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey everyone, Dr. Ramani here, and it's such a pleasure to let you know that today you can order Kimberly Shannon Murphy's book, Glimmer, a story of survival, hope, and healing. We will link in the video notes. This was an extraordinary book and an extraordinary story. You may not know her name, but you've seen her. If you've watched a movie that has ever had a famous, tall actress, think like an Uma Thurman or like a Cameron Diaz kind of actress doing a stunt, Kimberly was the one doing it. She herself is a tall, really a strong woman who does these stunts. And so she's a stunt woman. And it's not an easy book to read. And so, for those of you who have had histories of abuse in childhood, take a look and take a minute as you decide that for yourself, because it's an extraordinarily powerful book. It's a powerful book on not only complex trauma and childhood abuse, but how families collude to leave the most vulnerable member of a family to be harmed, and the denial that can happen in family systems for a very, very long time. We learn that when we talk about narcissistic abuse, when it's embedded in families, it's often embedded in much, much more complicated family systems that go above and beyond the narcissistic abuse. But even when horrific abuse is happening, and Kimberly's story, I have to say, I've been in the therapist game for almost 25 years, and hers is one of the more difficult, painful, and traumatizing stories I have had the opportunity to hear. That you recognize that the narcissistic abuse still, despite all that, makes a strong impact. And that was something that struck me in my conversation with Kimberly. But in her book, what you read is what happens in families and the arduous process of healing. She shares in frank detail what her process was. And these books are so important because these books, for survivors to read these, you read about how hard it was, how hard it can still be, but that things can evolve and shape and grow, that people can find remarkable things in their lives, and people can take back their lives. And even as the wounds of the trauma echo, that people do persist. And I'll tell you, there's no...
Can I? I'm not pushing back on anything the illustrious Dr. Ramani is saying, but Can I offer a recontextualization? Spirituality is nuanced, right? It's intellectually and psychologically nuanced. And I would say it's counterintuitive to those things. Right? There are no straight lines. You might not get an answer in the next 5 years to a question you've been asking. Because, Source might have you walking a particular path that has certain stops, and the stops may appear to be random to you, but they are divinely guided from on high, so that you may extrapolate bits and pieces of an answer, right? But it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle. Each experience has a different piece to this particular jigsaw puzzle type answer, right? And sometimes the pieces you get don't always fit together. Sometimes you got to go through one experience to get a piece, but then you got to go through 2 more experiences to get 2 pieces that might fit the edges of the first piece you got. And then you might have a piece that's just sitting out there that you haven't experienced a particular situation yet that hasn't given you the piece that would bring all these pieces together by way of connecting to the piece that seems like the outcast. See, people don't understand spirit. It can't be linear because there's too much information. Anything that is logical and linear is basic spiritually, right? This is why we go to the basic response to trauma. Trauma hurts. Run to what feels good, even though it's not good for me. See, sometimes we can run away from a hurting, painful situation, but not understanding that there is a spiritual resonance on us after being traumatized. There is a spiritual resonance. So we'll run to a new situation thinking the new situation is a new start, not understanding that the new situation may very well be a continuation of what you just left, right? Because you tend to attract what you know. You can't attract the unknown in you. You attract the known in you. What do you mean the known? That which has already been established. See, once a wound is established, a wound becomes a type of spiritual beacon that's calling in concomitant experiences that mirror it. That's what it's for. Why does it need a mirror? So it could see itself, so it could give up its ego, so it can give up its identity. What do you mean? Observation? Yes, non-judgmental observation will cause a wound to unravel. Wounds like to operate in a clandestine manner. Wounds like to operate behind the scenes in the subconscious, sending up suggestions, right, to the conscious. Hey, this looks like that. Hey, this might be that. Hey, go in this direction. Don't be led by a wound GPS. Don't do that. At the heart of this discussion lies a fundamental truth. Glimmers and triggers are indeed opposites. While glimmers spark feelings of joy, safety, and connection, triggers evoke anxiety, fear, or anger. This dichotomy invites us to examine how we navigate these emotional landscapes, to identify our glimmers, right? We must cultivate mindfulness. This is all spirituality couched in psychological talk, right? We say we must cultivate mindfulness, self-awareness, meditation, right? We have to get into a space where we stop the chatter of the wounds and the old mind and the hurt little child, and we get to a space where the sky is clear, where the canvas is clear. It's very difficult to do that when your wounds are your boss. When we come forward, I know we got callers, I see them, I'm going to get to y'all, but we trying to cook it up for you right now.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
October 2nd is California Clean Air Day. It's your chance to ride Metro for free. You'll be helping make the air cleaner and our roads less crowded. Let's clear the air together and make Los Angeles healthier. Check out metro.net for more info.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You've asked us to cover the effects of narcissistic parents on their children. So we sat down with Dr. Seth Meyers to explain how to spot the signs of narcissistic traits in your parents. Plus, we discuss how to cope with those psychological effects of having one or more parents with narcissism. All right, now narcissism may be one of my favorite, for lack of a better term, mental health topics. What is narcissism?
So narcissism is a personality disorder. The official name is narcissistic personality disorder. It involves a few central criteria. Okay. An overinflated, overt sense of the self. It involves lack of empathy at times with others. It involves a difficulty in relationships. So there are several things involved in that. Here's what's most important though with understanding a narcissist. A narcissist is not who they appear to be on the surface. Think about it like an astrological sign of a Gemini, right? There's two selves. That is who the narcissist is. So who the narcissist tries to appear to be on the surface. The image they try to sell to the public and to themselves, and then there is their underlying true self. Now, of course, anybody who really likes themselves, loves themselves, isn't going to be so hell-bent on proving to the world how great they are, how superior they are. So clearly, what they don't know is they're so much more transparent in some ways than they know. So there's the two selves. There's the false self, which is the self they try to sell to the world, and there's the real self, which is how they really feel. And deep down, there is an insecurity, a feeling that there's only enough love and attention, enough accolades to go around. So it's a bit of a chess game. You must do what you can to make sure you get as much attention as possible.
Got it. Now, before we talk about...
Imagine if that's one of your parents. You know? Imagine what the child has to do in order to, grow up in that. And like I said, I'm not going to push back on Dr. Ramani too much, but I do believe we need to change the terminology. We have to stop saying survive, right? Instead of survivors of anything, abuse, any type of abuse, can we say thrivers, right? Because many people will say, I'm alive. Well, no, you don't want to just be alive. You want to thrive, right? So instead of saying a survivor, because survivor to me has this connotation that feels like, yeah, I'm just making it through. I'm just hanging in there. I'm doing okay. I'm gonna figure it out. I think we should just really just shift the entire vibration. Would that not be a glimmer? Right? A linguistic glimmer? Can we have emotional glimmers? Can we have psychological glimmers? Can we have a wide range of glimmers? And sometimes because we speak spells into our life, right? Why not change the nomenclature, change the wording, change the framing of it, and start to speak glimmers into our life, right? Transmuting triggers into glimmers necessitates a shift in focus, right? From reaction to reflection. The teachings of Don Miguel Ruiz remind us that we have the power to choose our responses by recognizing that remaining triggered is, to some extent, a choice. We can reframe our experiences, right? Now, they're telling you can reframe and rewrite and recontextualize your attachment style. So I'm sure we can do the DIY glimmer. We could do it yourself glimmer. We can construct a glimmer for our own sakes. Something that we can tap in that means something to us, that elevates us in the moment. Right? By recognizing that remaining trigger is, to some extent, a choice, we can reframe our experiences. By reframing, or this reframing, allows us to harness the energy of our triggers as a catalyst for growth, rather than, this reinforcement of obstacles to our peace. In relationships, glimmers serve as beacons of love and connection. The same is true of triggers. They too are beacons. Triggers become intransigent when we try to ignore them. Right? We allow them to burrow deeper into our spirit. Then they become part of the super ego, part of the id. They integrate themselves into the ego. Then they become your identity. And then you feel some kind of way when you recognize, gosh, this is the cancer in my spirit that I got to get out. In relationships, glimmers serve as beacons of love and connection. right? Emphasizing being love rather than merely performing acts of service. This distinction is crucial. It prioritizes authentic emotional presence over transactional expressions of love. As Wayne Dyer suggests, the act of being love cultivates a deeper sense of belonging and fulfillment, transcending the superficiality of conditional love. I had a whole conversation with a sister. We were in one of those black cars, one of those black trucks, coming back from a cigar lounge in Menifee, California, out there by Temecula. Beautiful black-owned cigar lounge. I'm going to shout them out. They're called Rendezvous. We were there watching all the games with a bunch of people from our local cigar lounge, and we went down there, just one black business supporting another. And she's a lawyer, young, beautiful sister, and, she was just talking about how love isn't enough. And I was just like, your knowledge isn't enough. And I know you feel like you're pretty educated, but your educational system does not teach you about spiritual evolution. So of course you would say love isn't enough, because all you have to fall back on is the rigid construct using the scientific method of Western thought. So now love got to prove itself. Do you know how idiotic that sounds? Love got to prove itself to your wounds. Huh? Wait, what? Yeah, love. Huh? Okay. Listen, we got callers calling in. I'm going to get to y'all. You know how I like to do it. I like to set these things up, but please understand, love does not have to prove anything. Love is like the truth, right? And these are just words. Like, love is like God, right? These are just words, but we're talking about the reality of truth. We're talking about the reality of love. We talk about the reality of God, which are all synonymous. God doesn't have to prove itself. We're living in God, on God, through God, with God. Like, there's no proof necessary, right? Here's the reality. You want to be defined by what you've been through? Or do you want to transcend what you've been through? Do you want to become the master of what you've been through? Maybe glimmering is a new way to do so. When we come forward, promise you this time, phone calls coming through. Let's get it.
Just take it slow.